Hi, I'm Ben. This is SolarHot. We're going to do an installation of a Solvelox onto a tank, regular water tank, hot water tank. The Solvelox connects your panels, solar thermal panels, to your tank and transfers the energy into your tank. These are the parts we're going to be using. Mostly it's just a couple 90-degree elbows, a couple couplings, 2 adapters, a few bronze elbows and a T. Some nipples. These are just all the parts that we're going to use to connect to the tank, and a solar dip tube. And then we'll use some more copper pipe to add everything together. So I guess we'll get started now. First thing we're going to do is screw the Solvelox onto the tank so we know where to put everything else, basically. And we try to line it up so that these 2 copper tubes line up with these input and output for the hot water tank. We're using hex head screws, self-drilling, metal to metal. First we put one in on the top, and we get one on the bottom, so Chris doesn't have to...
Is it straight?
Yeah, it's straight. Hold it there the whole time.
And those are just going into like the there's insulation between the outer wall and the inner wall.
Exactly.
Insulation in between.
Yeah.
So don't use too long a screw.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We just use 1-inch screws, and then we hand tighten them down just to make sure they're in there good. And this is the solar dip tube. It goes into the hot water port.
You've got that
Right.
this flange on the very top of that. So when it drops in there, it catches.
Right.
So
It's closed at the bottom, and then it has these diffusion holes, which are to make sure that the hot water that is getting pumped in there moves out slowly into the tank and doesn't stir up all the things at the bottom. Also keeps stratification.
right.
And it just slides right on down in there. That's the hot and that's the cold.
Okay.
You're gonna notice right here. So the cold stays the cold, but now we're using what was the hot out. That is now the hot in from the Solvelox. That's why the solar dip tube is going in here.
Right.
The only reason we switched this out is because it has a flange around the top of it. The solar dip tube. Get it back out of there. Well, it catches on that flange. If you drop it in this hole, the 3rd port, there is no flange, and all of a sudden you have a solar dip tube in a tank that's doing nothing.
And right now we're putting a bronze T onto the cold side so that the cold water can enter in the top, and then we can also draw cold water out to go into the Solvelox. And we use just sort of an additional tube to sort of help torque it around.
Oh, I see. That's like you're using that as a wrench.
Basically. Instead of gripping on the bronze and messing it up a little bit. This one out for now.
So you're using that tool to line it up, right?
This tool?
Yeah.
Yeah, this tool. When we get it almost lined up, we just sort of stop it a little bit before it's lined up. But this is mostly just as a wrench to get it as an easier torquing method. And then just some Teflon tape to keep these little nipples tight in there. Now we use a bronze elbow on this side because the hot end doesn't need anything but just to go in. And I'm just using this because
Mini wrench.
it's easier for us. Yeah, you can just use a wrench and wrench it down. It's just we do this so we don't mark up the bronze very much.
And then you line it up with the second pipe.
Line up with the second pipe. That's where it's going to be coming from.
So you're almost lining it up, right?
Yeah.
So you're stopping just before on the slightly loose side.
And the next thing we do is put these adapters in to the elbow and T, one on each, so that we can then put a copper pipe, sweat a copper pipe into it.
Okay.
Alright, and the next thing we do is we measure for the copper pipe. These elbows are going to go on here, but we put them on there right now just so we can measure the distances. We measure from the back of the adapter up to this side of the copper pipe. And this is 9 and 9 3/4. And this one is 15 3/4. We'll go to the back of this because this goes all the way to the back of this on the inside, and then the copper pipe's going to actually butt up against this,
Oh.
and we're going to use a coupler to cover this,
Okay.
and that'll be what connects these two parts.
Okay.